So this man has come in a couple days in a row and complained about how awful he feels. Isn't that right?
No.
You totally have. Totally did that. And then I saw on my Facebook feed that a good buddy of ours, Raymond Rasmussen, was talking about how artists just beat themselves up. The music industry doesn't shut off until 4 a.m., bro. You're not built for this unless you can stay up ungodly hours of the night, because that's when the music industry operates, bro. That's when stuff gets done. Ooh. People don't get stuff done at 3 in the morning. They act like they're getting stuff done at 3 in the morning, but unless it's some creative session or a studio session, that's not how it works. So I think we as artists get like hit with this myth that like music industry doesn't sleep, bro. All business occurs between roughly 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. That's when business happens. Money moves around, products get sold, campaigns get launched, projects get shipped. That all occurs during the hours you would think that it occurs. And it's a myth that holds all of us indies back. I was an insomniac for a majority of my adult life so far. It wasn't until 26, 27 years old where I got a normal sleep schedule. And when you wake up at the same time every day, you're able to get more done. I wake up at 6:30, I go to the gym, I come back, I shower, I go to work, and I work for 12 hours straight, sometimes 16 hours straight. And I do things. I'm not making phone calls. I'm not taking meetings. I'm not like talking about things we're gonna do. I'm on this computer or behind this camera or talking to this guy, getting stuff done. So don't believe this bullshit narrative that like you have to live like a vampire in order to accomplish anything in this industry. That's probably one of the things holding you back, actually. I mean, a broad majority of those who have succeeded in that way have been able to keep a routine, and routines are predicated upon time, and your time is valuable. How you spend your time matters. Which brings me all the way back around to making sure you're prepared for the next day. If you've got a day ahead of you, or you've got a year ahead of you of accomplishment that you want to focus on, when your friends ask you to go out on a weeknight, when you've got to do stuff the next day, just don't go. Just don't go. Nothing's gonna happen there that you can't miss. Nothing's gonna happen there that can't wait until the weekend. There's not gonna be some big, thing that you missed out on that changes the trajectory of your life. All that's gonna happen is you're gonna have some laughs with your friends, and then you're going to feel like shit the next morning, and it's gonna be very difficult to get anything done. And then you're gonna lose all predictability in your life because you can't maintain a routine. And then you're gonna feel like it's so hard to get big projects started. It's so hard to get traction and movement on your career, when it's really not. Just like, a few simple things. Go to bed, wake up at the same time every day, make sure you don't feel like shit when you wake up because you're keeping your night sacred, and then work. And do that for a year, and trust me, your whole life will change. And as someone who has recovered from being that insomniac, from being that like, dude, let's just go out tonight, I made it back from that brink, and I wanted to provide some perspective to people who might still be in that. You can make it out, and it is everything that your boring ass teachers said it was. So if you're an inner rebel and you feel like, dude, I'm not like that, and I'm different. You're not different. You're a human being. Your body works the same as any other human being, and sometimes it can help to just listen to the lame ass boring advice. Sometimes it really can change things. So get some sleep tonight, guys.
And you think my passage on a picture, cash and cards, wishful thinking that's an afterthought. I ain't take the road you crafted for me, so you rip and tell me my path is wrong.
All I gotta say is they don't really care about us, and I just wanna live, yeah. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. Oh no, oh no. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah.
This is gonna be a very short episode today because I have to get a lot of training done for our Indie Pro members. So we have a new training launching, and that means I'm gonna be editing a whole lot for the next 2 weeks. But I still wanted to upload today because I relearned a lesson this morning and over the past few days that I think is very important for anyone who is going to try to better themselves or their situation through creative means, which is that it's very easy to lose sight of joy. When you're very, very busy, people become an obstruction, and things that are necessary for joy become an obstruction to getting stuff done sometimes. I found myself over the past few weeks getting more closed off, more isolated. I caught myself in this habit of avoiding being on the elevator with other people, avoiding the homeless people that are around my building here in downtown Orlando. People who are just like me, and people who deserve some compassion and fellow humanity. I would walk around the block just to not have to encounter them or tell them I don't have money or cigarettes. And that's not who I want to be, you know? I don't want to be that kind of guy. One of my favorite books ever is the Book of Joy, which features Desmond Tutu and His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Joy doesn't come from external stimuli. Joy doesn't come from some confluence of the right events. Joy comes out of thin air. And all it takes is just remembering that it's there to access it. Like, it's right here. If you can just tune into it and you can smile, it's right there. And so I threw it on this morning while I was at the gym, and immediately that joy just opened up into my head. And I remembered that happiness and joy is cheap. It's important to strive to better yourself. It's important to strive to better your community and your family and your situation. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be accessing joy constantly. And if you're looking for happiness through that striving, that's not where you're gonna find it, I don't think. You'll find fulfillment there, you'll find usefulness, and we as humans need to be useful. We have evolved to be useful to our community, which means, you know, trying to create businesses, and that's fine. There's nothing incompatible about that and joy, I don't think. Joy is a separate set of skills, and it's important. So last year we started an indie book club because I wanted to give back. I was listening to the Book of Joy, and there's a part in it where they're talking about how being in service to others is the easiest route to happiness, right? Because it's both happiness and joy and fulfillment. It's both of them in one. So I bought 10 copies of the Book of Joy to send out to anyone who signed up to this Google form, and then anyone who signed up after that, those indies would forward the book to them. So the book is free, they just have to pay shipping to the next person to pay it forward. Now the problem is that I didn't follow up with it because I just had so many other things to do that I didn't get a system down for having that forwarding take place. So now that we've got a team and I've got Kenny as a support specialist, I'm going to strike it back up. So if you want to receive the Book of Joy, you can sign up at the Google form below. This won't opt you into our email list or any of our marketing, so you don't have to worry if that's something that you want to avoid. This is just so that we have your address and your name on file to send you Book of Joy. But that book aside, I just wanted to come here for a very, very short episode to just remind myself and anyone out there who needs it that joy is right here. It's like waiting in the ether. And it really is this matter of accepting it in. I think everyone can like identify with that moment where you're just like, no, I can't just be happy. I have all these reasons for being upset right now, or these reasons for being frustrated. And someone's like, just smile, man. And you're like, no, because if I do that, then these things aren't real. They're not serious. And they are serious to me. It's just that feeling of just letting go. You know, that's where joy is. It's like, yeah, they're serious. Yes, they matter. Yes, they're real. You're not an idiot for feeling these frustrations, but stop beating yourself up. Joy is right here. And I think it's easy if you're listening to this message to think like, oh, your life seems pretty straight. Like, you know, I have much worse trauma, or I have a much worse situation. And maybe that's true, but like, I grew up in very, very rough situations. I used to be 400 pounds. I was addicted to drugs. I grew up under the supervision of addicts. And so it was rough. You know, I had a very, very depressing school life, and it took me 6 years to graduate high school. I've been jumped, I've been stabbed, I've been robbed, I've been woken up at gunpoint, you know? So I had a rough go of it too. The book talks about how suffering actually brings us closer to joy because we feel like we can identify with the rest of the 7 billion humans on this planet, because one thing that's common amongst all of us is that we all suffer to one degree or another. So it's not a place of privilege that gives me that sense of joy. It's actually a place of deep, deep suffering. So if you're out there and like me, you were kind of like wallowing in the busyness and the detachment from other human beings, I want to remind you that joy is like right there. And you just need to remind yourself of it. You need to remind yourself that you're no different. The Dalai Lama says that he hates to regard himself as the Dalai Lama because there's only one Dalai Lama and there's over 7 billion human beings. Regular, average human beings who suffer and who have difficulty and who just want to feel safe and warm. So you've got a huge family out there. And I don't know if this helps anyone out there, but I hope that it does, because I certainly needed it. And I'm gonna do my best to remember it this time around and forgive myself for forgetting it. So I love all you guys out there. I love all my fellow creatives. I love all my fellow human beings. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace out, Indies.